Gaming is one of the best things you can do to train your brain and learn how to gamify your life. Gaming will make you successful. Gaming is what made me successful. I'm a millionaire today because I was a gamer first. Let me talk to you about the benefits of gaming. Gaming and playing video games is the single best way to train yourself for success and figure out how to beat the game of life. I'm here to tell you that gaming is the pinnacle of simulation for practicing how to get good at different things. I liked to use gaming as a means of escape. When I was a child, I grew up in a lower income family household. And I found that if I could get onto these video games, like MMORPGs like World of Warcraft or Wars Galaxies Online, or I could escape onto strategy games like Age of Empires 3, 2, Age of Mythology. Games like these online allowed me to gain that social interaction that made me who I am today. I wouldn't be an effective real estate investor, an effective investor, and someone who understood economics without first the fundamental foundation of gaming. I started gaming when I got my first computer around when I was 11 years old. And I remember that changed my life in a big way. I used gaming to enhance my current, we were relatively lower income, but in the world of gaming, we were all on a fair, even platform. When we all started out, we all started at level 1, we all started with nothing in our accounts, we had no coins, credits, gold, whatever the currency was in the game. And I don't know if it's because of the nature of who I am, but I loved the opportunity to excel. I loved that it was a capitalist free market inside of these video games like World of Warcraft and Wars Galaxies Online. And in most of these games, Diablo, games like these, there are auction houses or bazaars or markets that you can use to trade items that you've found from quests or from varying loots that you've gained from killing bosses or just going out there and grinding against NPCs or non-player characters. Then you could sell that and you could use that in the world of PvP, or when you're raiding, you could buy that gear if you had the money, or you could sell that gear if you wanted to earn that sort of currency. And I remember in every game that I've played, within a year I would rise to the top. I would be the top at something. I would corner a market and find something that I was good at. Maybe it was I was good at finding a certain material, and then I was able to turn that material into maybe I picked the blacksmith profession and I made it into armor and I sold that armor, and I refined ores and turned that into metal. Gaming isn't necessarily a bad thing. I remember my parents and all of my family members and my teachers, and they all would say that gaming was a waste of time. And in fact, I was learning more when I get home at 3:30 from school till midnight every night, and on the weekends I would be going 12, 14 hours straight playing these video games. I was learning more in these video games than I was at school. And that's because gaming has a lot of benefits. Let's talk about some of the benefits of gaming. There's something called probability or problematic, I think it's problematic interference. I'd have to Google it, but essentially problematic interference is that there's so many different pieces of information that come at us, it makes it difficult for us to make a decision. And when you play games like even shooter games or any game where you need to make decisions quickly, the studies have shown that gamers tend to make critical decisions 25% faster because they're able to process the information faster. They've practiced that neural pathway in their brain. So gaming makes you a better problem solver. There's information that suggests that gamers are also, they have better cognitive ability. They're practicing and keeping their mind fresh. Gaming is an intensive thing. At competitive levels, when you're playing for PvP or you're playing at high levels in gaming, if you take gaming seriously, I'm not talking casual gaming, I'm talking, if you're playing in a more competitive sense, you will build up those neural pathways in your brain to think faster, process information faster. You'll have better memory, better retention. And I'm here to argue that you can learn the basics of economics through video games. I remember practicing on the auction house my first time experiencing arbitrage. I could buy on one market, I would set up bots that would sell items, for instance, and people would message me, And on a private market, I would buy and sell items, and I would list it on the public exchange market, say in World of Warcraft at the auction house. And there was an arbitrage. And you could download apps that would scan, mods, they called them mods, within the game that would scan the auction house, and you could find areas for arbitrage. This to me was huge. It was the first time I experienced what later became for me when I turned 18, I learned how to trade stock. And it was very much the same as a simulation I had done from my ages 12 to 18 in games like World of Warcraft and Wars Galaxies Online. Great MMORPGs. Further, you learn things like social skills. I've learned how to communicate effectively online through chat. I've learned how to, things you don't necessarily learn if you're interacting in person. And people think, oh, you don't need to learn how to be an effective communicator through chat. That's not true. A lot of the deals that I've done in real estate and in the business world have been through text, through email, through Facebook chat. If you know how to effectively communicate, you'll be much more successful. So gaming and MMORPGs specifically teach you how to work well with others in an online setting. And a lot of what I did in my job in consulting actually was online. I was consulting with clients over Vent, typically a similar system to Vent, where essentially is this way to speak when you're gaming, as well as over chat. And so developing those skills was very, very valuable. And at the end of the day, you learn to be you learn the foundations of how to practice the game of life. And I've always found video games as a nice practice for life. You have to grind for a while, then you level up, you start to build some clout, you build a group, you go on, you slay some beasts, you go on quests, and as you level up, you get more power. And as you get more power, you get more influence. And as you grow, you build your wallet, right? You actually learn to beat the game. There are techniques and strategies. And I'm thinking, when I turned 18, or 17, I went off to university, I'm thinking, life is a lot like MMORPGs. They're a simulation of real life. And I'm starting out fresh, I have no income, I don't come from any money, but just like in the video game, we're all starting at the same sort of level. All I have to do is grind and apply effective strategies, and I can move faster and level faster than other people. And it's just by applying good technique and using a lot of the practice that I had in the gaming world. So I'm trying to keep this video short, and I'm just more or less rambling, but are there any other gamers out there who are millionaires? Do you credit, if you've been successful, let's say you have a six-figure job, or you're a stock trader, or you're a real estate agent, or whatever you do, maybe you're a programmer, whatever your role is, did you find gaming benefited you? Did you use gaming as a simulated environment to practice strategies and techniques that you use in the real world? And did you find that gaming paralleled real life, and that it's possible to gamify your own life to be successful? I think gaming is a really awesome thing. If your kids are gaming, get them into the right games and ensure that they're playing in a more competitive sense, and they're taking the game seriously, and they will actually benefit from it. They won't even realize it. Subconsciously, you're training your ability to delay gratification, for instance, in gaming. I remember going on quests that would take 10, 12 hours before I'd have a reward. And so gaming can teach and train delayed gratification. It can teach and train the skills that kids today need to be successful in the future. Skills that I used to be successful today. I credit a lot of what I've done to gaming. That said, I'm going to throw out something. I did actually turn my gaming way down. From age 22 to age 25, I barely gamed at all, and that's because I was working 100-hour weeks in the game of life. And I found real estate and stock trading and a lot of the different things in like frugality and saving, I found that paralleled a lot of what I was doing in games. I played games like League of Legends, competitively. I've played all of these games, and there are so many parallels in real life to the gaming world. And if you can become proficient at learning some of those techniques and skills by playing a lot, the more you play, the better you get practicing those skills. You can then take those skills and use them in your real life, in your real world. And I think there's more training happening from gaming than what you're learning in the current school system. So if you're a parent, you're watching this, and your kids want a game, hell, support them. Get them into the right games and game with them. My dad and I used to game, and it was fantastic. There's nothing better than bonding over a good game of whatever it is that you're playing. So game with your kids. If you're thinking about stopping gaming, make sure you have a good reason for it, because gaming is a great thing.